In 1945, the world celebrated the end of the most devastating war in human history. The monsters had been defeated. Justice would be served. This is what they told us. What they did not tell us is that some of the worst monsters of entire war were quietly handed jobs, given new lives, and told to never speak of what they did. This is the story of Unit 731. The darkest secret, Japan and America buried together. Deep in the forest of occupied Manchuria, far from any city, far from any witnesses, the Imperial Japanese Army built a facility. They told the outside world it was a water purification unit. It was not. Inside those walls, human beings were being used as a laboratory equipment. The prisoners had a name, Maruta. It is a Japanese word. It means logs. Not prisoners, not people, not human being, but logs. Think about what it means. When you give a human being the name of an object, it means you have already decided they do not matter. What happens to them does not matter. How much they suffer does not matter. And so, the scientists of Unit 731 did things to human beings that I am going to tell you plainly. Because the world needs to know. They injected living prisoners with plague, with cholera, with anthrax. They froze prisoners alive to study how the human body responds to frostbites. They performed surgery without anesthesia, not because they ran out, because they wanted the data to be pure, uncontaminated by the mercy of making a person unconscious first. They loaded bombs with plague-infected fleas and dropped them on the Chinese cities. Hundreds of thousands of civilians died. Not soldiers, civilians, farmers, mothers, and children. At least 3,000 people died inside Unit 731 walls alone. Most were Chinese, some were Koreans, some were Russians. None of them had done anything wrong. None of them were soldiers. They were simply available. When Japan surrendered in August 1944, The commander of Unit 731 gave one final order: destroy everything. The facilities were blown up, the records were buried, the remaining prisoners were killed. Every trace of what had happened inside those walls was meant to be disappear forever. And then came to the deal. General Douglas MacArthur, commander of American occupation of Japan, made a decision. The scientists of Unit 731 would not be prosecuted. They would not face a trial at Nuremberg. They would not answer for a single death. In exchange for one thing: their data, the research, the findings, everything they had learned from doing what they had done to those 3,000 people, was quietly transferred to United States military laboratories. And the men of Unit 731 went home. One became a doctor. One became a university professor. One became a president of the Japan Medical Association, healing people. The same hands, the same minds. Not one of them was ever prosecuted. Japan did not officially acknowledge that Unit 731 existed until 1994. Nearly 50 years after the war was ended. The victims received no apology, no compensation, no acknowledgement of their names. History remembers what power allows us to remember. Everything else gets buried. The men who did this lived long, comfortable lives, respected, celebrated, protected. The people they experimented on were given no names in the history books, no graves, no justice. They were called logs, and the world let that stand. The next time someone tells you that justice always wins in the end, remember Unit 731, because sometimes power wins, and history gets written by the people who made the deal. This is Facts They Buried. Every week, the history they hoped you would never find. Subscribe. The facts are buried, we dig them up.